some hockey. Energetic, passionate, and savvy. Gouche Live. Brought to you by the good people at the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Gooch.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Hey, listen, we're number 29. Yes, you're all thinking I'm wearing it because of me. Nope. Steve Ludzik. We'll be talking to Scott Oswin, who's coming up here for a few minutes. He's my co-host just for the first 15 minutes. We're going to talk a little bit of hockey. And then we're bringing in the Flying Frenchman all the way from Montreal, la province. Quelle est-il? Bonjour, comment allez-vous? Listen, we'll talk a little bit of Montreal Canadiens, and then Francois has been doing such great things. He's not only one of our top ambassadors for Shoot for a Cure, he's one of the trainers for our Safe for Sports platform. We'll be rolling more of it out now that we've had a pandemic. We've had time to get organized with Malcolm Sutherland. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to talk to Scott Oswin, an agent, a player consultant, and we're going to talk to him about how are kids feeling right now. Obviously, there may not be a draft for possibly in the OHL or what's going to go on with the NHL. And I got off the phone today with Scott Oswin. They're still up in the air what's going on with the GTHL. So it'd be really cool to talk to Scott about that. Before we do that, ESPN and NHL have a love affair. Yes, they finalized the TV deal, 7 years. Now, I know that 7 years is not always a great deal. 7 years of bad luck if you walk under a ladder. So hopefully that's the start of something good. CFL is talking partnership with the XFL. I thought the XFL was dead and gone. Like, honestly, how many lives does it have? I'd rather see the WHA return. God, XFL. Or that one where I think the girls playing bikinis, if I'm not mistaken. It was a football league. I don't know, something like that. Matthews wanted to practice, but the team said stay off the ice. I agree. He was stellar last night. The way he scored last night, you don't really have to have a wrist that works. You just tap that, eye-hand coordination, second to none. And, of course, his second one was a pretty pass, and he just little tap in. Sutter put the Flames through a bag skate yesterday. I'll ask Scotty what he thinks about Sutter and being in Calgary. And, of course, the new ownership with The Rock. We'll find out more information over the next couple of days. If you do not know The Rock, it's not that new TV show about him being a kid growing up. The Rock are the Toronto Rock. They play in the lacrosse league. And Vegas send goalie Lettner to the AHL for conditioning. Want to find that out? I know Paul will be very interested in that. All right, guys, listen. Here he is, the one and only Scott Oswin. Scotty, what's going on?
The one and only. I love the intro. How you doing, pal?
You deserve it, kid. You deserve it. Listen, obviously, we're going to talk some hockey. First, of course, I must gloat. I don't have any Tim Hortons cups here, but I've won 6 Tim Hortons, and it's no longer double-double because I lose weight. So I have got 6 1 sugar, 3 milk, and an apple fritter, which is I'm going to trade it for a diet muffin from Kevin Shea and his buddy, Art Hindle from the movie Face Off. He owes me a coffee and an apple fritter, and I'll go with the diet. What are your thoughts on that?
I was waiting patiently to see the honey crullers, the fritters, the coffees, everything lined up in front of you today, but it's not there. It's not there.
No, you know what it is? I would have it there for them. This is Val's cup. And because he hasn't sent me my Tim Hortons, I'll tell you what, one day I woke up and outside my door, klingle, ding, ding, ding. This was about 3 or 4 months ago. I opened up the door. There's one of those coffee vats and 12 donuts. And I was like, what the heck? Has anybody looked at my belly lately? And it was Aaron Kuzak's done it twice, my buddy in in Melbourne, and Sam Trapolino with his beautiful daughter, Marnie, and Sharon, the whole family, who you'll get to meet one day out of Adelaide. Was crazy. They had sent these packages over. You can do that. So Val, get off here and send me my muffin and my Tim Hortons. You get the chance to watch the game?
I did. It was a great game. You know what? The boys came out firing, but obviously your team came out on top, and you're the happy man today.
Well, no, I don't want to gloat. But you can see right there, I got the Winnipeg. I made sure the Winnipeg Jets logo was. Yeah. Listen, I live in a household that most of the people love. Well, there's only one other. She loves the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I am a true hockey. I'm sure you're the same. I love the Montreal Canadiens. I love the Calgary Flames. I love the Edmonton Oilers. Oh, I love the Vancouver Canucks. Okay, I'm a little bit off on the Detroit Red Wings with Paul Rosen, a little bit, Chicago, all that sort of stuff. And I could go on and on. I could list you 32 teams in the National Hockey League, 31 teams that I love, right? But there's one that is my favorite, and it's the Winnipeg Jets. Any game is a great game. Tonight at 11 o'clock, there's a game going on, and I'm watching it.
I have to ask you this question because I heard this stat today. Kyle Connor.
Yes.
He was the player that was drafted by Winnipeg. He was the second player with the most goals behind Connor McDavid in that draft year. This kid last night has probably got one of the quickest releases I've seen. This kid does nothing but score goals.
Hey, unbelievable. And a lot of people don't. You know what? They made a comparison last night on TSN, top 6 Toronto, top 6 Winnipeg. And a bunch of the guys, 3 of the 4 picked the Winnipeg Jets because you got to think about, Austin Matthews and Marner, probably, if not 1A, they're 1B for sure is the duo right now, I would say. They're off. They're shooting a little bit off, as is obviously the superheroes in Edmonton. But I think you got to look deeper. Connors, Ehlers, Scheifele is just a stellar. Now that Dubois fits in there, Wheeler. I'm telling you, I like it. Kyle has 24 points in 25 games, 12 goals, 12 assists. But last night, it was that pass from Ehlers and that really quick release, as you mentioned. No goalie's going to stop that.
But let me go. Let me take one step further. I'm going to one up you here.
I know you will.
Appleton, Mason
Yes.
Appleton looked like an old Steve Yzerman last night, driving to the net and just doing the old Ovechkin on the ice, spinning after his goal. Unbelievable. Like this kid's got some passion. He's got some drive for the game. I love this kid. This kid's going to be a hockey player.
I got a really good friend in Winnipeg. I got a bunch of I got friends in Winnipeg. I shouldn't say good, in high places. And he absolutely despises Maurice. He's just not a big fan of him because he's not playing the young kids. He's only playing the old guys. Listen, no disrespect to Nate Thompson. I love him. But there are young kids that are sitting and waiting down in the Manitoba Moose that should be up. Like right now, I think he should be experimenting. But listen, he's second overall. How can you criticize a coach? But there are some people that are pushing it. So do you hear anything out there about that?
You know what? I think Paul Maurice got a little bit of a bad rap when he was in Toronto. But my dealings with Paul Maurice, you know what? Great man. He's a player's coach. I think he's a hard coach, but he holds his players accountable. And I think, you talk to some players, and some guys have their opinions on him. But you know what? He's doing a hell of a job in Winnipeg right now, so you can't say nothing negative about him right now.
Hey, listen, I was a player coach in Germany. I had the top 6 loved me, the bottom 6 hated me.
Right.
The top 3 defensemen who played 45 minutes a game, they absolutely thought I was a god, and the rest, everybody else hated me. So it's just the way, the luck of the land. Listen, Scheifele, 5th in the league in points. The goal from Appleton, as you said, is a highlight reel. 13 points in 25 games. You got to, do some shutout. Their defense, I think we still need somebody in the back end for the defense. But let's go to Toronto now. Enough about how good my Winnipeg Jets are. I love the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think they need secondary scoring. I love what Jason Spezza has brought to the team. I'm not dissatisfied with Joe Thornton. He's great in the room. Keep hearing that, great in the room. But he does bring a presence. But we know Nylander. There's a lot of people that have a hate on for Nylander. Some days he's good, some days he's not. But I think we need to look at, we need a little bit more depth from everybody else to help, obviously, Marner and Matthews. Johnny T's got to step it up a little bit. He's been playing as of late. Your thoughts on the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Well, you talk about haters on Nylander. My father is one of them. But I'm going to ask you this question. Is it possible to have a team that is too talented? Because watching these guys, just like watching the Harlem Globetrotters, these guys distribute the puck from the blue line in. It's like they want to see the white of the goalie's eyes. And I sit there and watch this team. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, just shoot the puck. It doesn't have to be tic-tac-toe right in the crease. Shoot the puck, pucks on net, get rebounds. Old school, old style, crash the net kind of hockey. It's a talented team, and they're always passing the puck maybe too much.
Hey, Scotty, you know your stuff. So here's what I'm going to do. I only wanted to have you on in 15 minutes. We talk our little stuff. Would you stay on?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I got the Flying Frenchman coming up in a few minutes, and he really likes those Habs guy. So okay, here we go. A little bit of WWF. We're going back old school, the Worldwide Federation.
That's it. Let's do it.
Okay, here, before we bring him up, I want to say a shout out to Robert Wine. Holy cow, you're bilingual at the better than awesome level. Just listen to this. Ich spreche sehr gut Deutsch. Bonjour, comment allez-vous aujourd'hui? That's it. That's all I got. Craig's coming in, piping in. You didn't like the bikinis? Do you remember bikini baseball? Didn't they have bikini football or something, or was it flag football and the girls were dressed up in bikinis? I'm not a sexist by any means or chauvinist. My wife runs the family here. There's only two of us. So, there's two of me because there's two personalities she has to deal with. But do you remember that at all?
100%. They used to play in the old domes there. I remember watching, there was a highlight the other day. A girl had the towel there, and a little towel hanging from her bikini bottoms there just to wipe off her hands to get the throw off as a quarterback. And all I could think of was maybe that's the female Tom Brady, but I didn't. It's a great sport.
Well, I can't wait. I'm sure Francois coached the team. Afternoon, Kerry. Always love to see Francois on the show, and congratulations to him on his new position. We'll be talking to him about that, which is really exciting. And Val, I know, is going to pop up in a second and give me who's at 11. I think it is Vancouver Canucks. He's going to pull that up. I was just going through. I do that Tim Hortons thing because I'm getting so many Tim Hortons. But I do the Tim Hortons. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a roll up the win, and you can pick. You pick up your. You can pick a bunch of guys and all that sort of stuff. I've won 3 coffees without doing betting. Just you pick a player, 1, 2, 3 categories, and if you get all 3 right, you get 150 points, and you see a truckload of donuts, which I don't need. All right, it's Habs versus the Canucks. So looking forward to that, of course. Now, just before we bring up Francois, I did want to say a shout out. The reason why I'm wearing number 29 is not for me, of course, as I mentioned. Steve Ludzik, as you know, and many people know, he's been battling with Parkinson's, and now, of course, he's needing a liver. The poor guy, an incredible player, ambassador, and just one hell of a guy. His never give up attitude. We're thinking of him, and I know you know him very well.
You know what? I had the honor of going to Ludzy's roast in Niagara Falls there with the Sutter family, and I got to tell you, there was every hockey person that was there, just nothing but love for this man. And getting to meet him, I've never met a man just so kind, just generous, and just a gentle man. But obviously a hockey guy, a hard man, but a gentleman and a true professional all the way. I wish Ludsy all the best.
Yeah, of course. And we'll do I'm going to do not a roast. His roasts are absolutely stellar. But we'll do a little tribute to him, because we want him to get better. We want him to be a part of our show. We've had him on once. I hope we can get him back on when he gets healthy and just talk Ludsy, because Ludsy's strong. We love you, kid. Hey, listen, I think that the game tonight at 11, I know you go to sleep early, so you won't be watching it. But I really want to see, after the Montreal Canadiens completely destroyed my Winnipeg Jets, what team shows up tonight. Obviously in Calgary with the coaching change, the coaching change for Montreal seems to maybe be settling in. Your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? I mean, the biggest thing right now is I think sometimes, the players get stale. It gets stale, and sometimes there needs to be a change. And unfortunately, when change is required, it's usually the coach. So, you know what? Right now, the boys seem to, be adjusting right now, and it's going to be an adjustment period. But you know what? It's for the best.
Hey, I'm nervous about my executive producer and my assistant producer. One's a Detroit Red Wing fan, and last night they had him on the ropes. They should have won that game. I think. Tampa scored with a couple minutes to go, or not even. I think it was a couple seconds tied up and winning in overtime. I feel bad for the Detroit Red Wings. And then James, who's our assistant, back-to-back losses to the Vancouver Canucks, his Toronto Maple Leafs, and Montreal. So speaking of teams that are on the way up, let's bring in the Flying Frenchman. Thanks, Val. Sorry, buddy. Shouldn't touch the buttons. I am not supposed to be touching buttons. Hey, Francois, meet my buddy Scott.
Francois,
Hey,
how are you?
Scott. I'm good, Scott. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Super.
I'm going to keep him on because, you know, you and I, every time you and I argue, I win. So I thought it'd be kind of cool. Well, it does say Gouche Live. It doesn't say Francois Live. So I have to.
Okay, that's why you're, yeah.
So what I want to do,
I understand.
Before we get into your new appointment, which is absolutely fantastic, you're going to tell us about that. We're really, really excited about you and all the great things that are going on. I know Val is going to pull up, if I don't already have it. I do not. We're going to pull up the logo. We want people to see that fantastic logo from your organization. But let's go into the Montreal Canadiens versus Toronto Maple Leafs right at this moment. And Scott, by all means, as Francois describes his halves, you can throw your points in. Tell us where we are in Habs land right now, Francois.
Where should I start? A lot of changes. You know, Ducharme replaced.
I'll leave the screen because I don't want to get into any of the back.
No battling. He's going to lose anyways. So with Ducharme, I think replacing Julien, it makes a little bit of a difference that we have a young coach now in Montreal comparing to, the oldies and, the old mentality coaches. And then what's interesting, they got rid also of Kirk Muller got thanked also and replaced by Burrows. And I think that's going to make a huge difference. Burrows is an energy guy. He was when he was playing. And I can just see him now behind the bench. And I got the chance to train him a little bit. So when he was playing. And I think that's going to make a huge, huge difference. And they've also replaced their goalie coach, Stefan Waite. And now Sean Berg's going to take over. For Bergevin, I think he sees that the next guy out would be him, so he had to make some changes. It wasn't going anywhere, and I think those changes are going to help a lot. And you were already starting to see a little bit of that change.
Yeah, Francois, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question here. So I look at Montreal. Montreal brings in Ducharme as a new coach, a younger coach. And then I look out in the West Coast and I look at the Calgary Flames, who get rid of Jeff Ward and bring in old school Daryl Sutter. I'm very curious to see how both these teams, and obviously Montreal's already had Ducharme behind the bench for a couple of weeks now, but I'm interested to see how both these teams react to an old school type mentality, and where Montreal is now getting more of a youth, maybe players type of coach. And see how these teams react.
And both organizations did it differently. Ducharme is there for now. I mean, he hasn't signed a contract for many years. Sutter did, and that's where I'm a little bit surprised, because I don't know if you saw, was it this morning or yesterday? I mean, he backskated those guys like crazy. So, it's older mentality. I think it's going to be good because it's a very short season. There's not a lot of games remaining. But long term, is it going to help Calgary? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I got to tell you. I mean, I've got to know the Sutter family pretty well when I lived out west, and obviously was at the Steve Ludzik roast there with the Sutter family. And I think those players out in the west there in Calgary are in for a rude awakening. And I've had friends of mine that played for Daryl in Los Angeles, and love or hate him, he's a winner. And you know what? Those boys they better get ready, because he's coming in there and he's not messing around. So
I agree with you. He's a winner. I think he's been great. I don't think he's going to be bad now, because considering the amount of games remaining. But free agents, are they going to want to go there because he's there? I think that's going to be big for Calgary. Some players that are renewing their contracts, are they going to be willing to stay because they know they're going to get backskated like they did the other morning? So and Ducharme on the other side, Ducharme, he's very close to his players. He's talking to his players, talking to his goalies. He's got that younger mentality. The approach is different. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. But I think Calgary is going to is going to rebound because it's a shorter remaining of the season. Are they going to make the playoffs? I'm not sure, but obviously, Daryl Sutter being there is going to make a difference. We'll just see how huge of a difference it's going to be.
And listen, there's a good comment here by Derek Luck. He's a big fan of ours. He's a great guy. He's helping out. Listen to this one. Calgary is in trouble. He is a nightmare. Won't work in this game. Are you guys, obviously with kids today or younger players, Scott, you've been close to it, and we know, Francois, you're really close with your hockey program. Guys are all living on this stuff today, right? Mm-hmm. They're not really listening to a voice. And Sutter is brass and loud, and he accountable. He's a no nonsense. Pretty tough in this day and age to come in with that kind of attitude. Run it like, obviously look at Torts is very similar. He's kind of has that regiment. Could it be what Derek's saying here? Could be a little bit difficult for him to just walk in and take over like that?
I don't think so. Just because there's not a lot of games remaining, I think that's going to make a difference. But like I said, long term, I don't think it's going to work.
Scott, Derek adds to it. Just he's a winner is all he keeps hearing. This is Derek Luck. Kids today are not going to be yelled at. Trust me, he won't last. Not a chance. Thank you for that, Derek. Obviously, Scotty, what are your thoughts on that comment?
Well, you know what, Derek makes a valid point. But here's the reality of it: is I'm going to use these two players. I'm going to use Sean Monahan and Johnny Gaudreau. Those are your two top players in Calgary. These two players can run away and they can run and request trades and not play for Daryl, or they can buy into Daryl. And when you buy into Daryl Sutter, I firmly believe that when you buy in, he's on your team. He is on your side. He may not be the softest guy. You may not get that warm, fuzzy feeling, but you buy into Daryl Sutter's program, and you have a loyal man behind you every step of the way.
So, Francois, what do we see in Montreal with the coaching staff there? He's saying buy in. Kirk Muller was such a nice guy, but yep. I think you're right. Burroughs is going to bring a little bit more intensity, a little more passion there. And, of course, with Ducharme, his coaching style is certainly not Julien coaching style. And then I want to know, both of you guys may have heard this, is there a controversy with Sean Burke's a great goalie coach, but he was switched without Carey Price really knowing it. Is that any type of conflict? And does Carey Price really need a goalie coach at this time?
Well, I think from what I've heard, the message had to be different. And Stefan Waite was relieved between the second and third period, which is kind of weird. But right now, Sean Burke has to do a quarantine, so he's not there. So it's Marco Marciano that's doing that's acting as the goalie coach right now. Another young kid. Coming from the Rockets organization. And, I just think having those young people around those players is going to be beneficial for the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to come to the defense of Carey Price here. A good friend of mine is the rep for True Hockey. And Carey had those big blasting red goal pads on. And I know now that he's got the new True, the Montreal blue ones coming out now. So you know what? Maybe it's a product. And you know what? I truly believe that True's got a great rep in New York. And you know what? Those pads might turn him around. Might turn things around for him a little bit.
Hey, who's your friend at True? Can you mention his name?
Jörg Argenbach, if I pronounce his last name right.
I always screw up Jörg's. Jörg's a great man. I've known him for 100 years. Yeah, awesome. I love him, and he's doing a great job with True. Okay, now let's get into obviously Francois. Tell us about your hockey platform, and Scotty. It's really exciting what's gone on with Francois over the last couple of weeks. I've known Francois for a long time. Very dedicated, very loyal, very straightforward, black and white, and gets the best out of his players. Talk to us a little bit about what's going on with Francois Landreville.
Well, we started that international hockey academy 6 years ago. I met a guy called Michael Bujo that wanted to start a program, and he was looking for a hockey guy. So we were introduced, and we started with 4 players. We had 3 Japanese kids and a Korean kid. Well, he doesn't like to be called Korean because he's more from Quebec. But and we started that Somang Hockey International Academy. So and with the years now, this year we have 5 teams. Next season we're gonna have 7 teams. And we've got kids from 17 different nationalities in our program. So we've got kids coming from every side of the world, just coming to get developed. And basically, we're there for the kids. I mean, we're there for their own development, not only sports-wise, but, school-wise also. That's very important. And we want to advance every single one of our players, regardless where. There's different divisions. It could be in the States, could be in Canada, it could be in Europe. We have 2 kids playing pro right now in Europe, one in the Dale 2, and which Gouche. Yannick Bauer, and we have one that's playing in Sweden. We have a kid that's playing in the US HL and is got a full commitment at Minnesota University. So that's what we do, is we develop kids, so they're able to pursue their hockey, but also their school.
So Scott, let me ask you this question. Obviously, listening to what Francois just you are a player agent. You've been a player consultant. I guess they're called advisors. You talk with the parents and that. How much more has this helped players now? Now, instead of just going to school and running around trying, you got to get your kid to a practice here. Now these kids are going to school in academies and working with people like Francois, and it's almost like a one-stop shop. It's obviously got to be an advantage to a parent and to the player. Now they're getting more ice time. They're getting more dedicated coaches that are being paid and knowing exactly what they're doing.
Well, 100%. And that's the pressure that takes off the parent right now is, going to these academies. It's just exactly what you just said. It's one-stop shop. You got your education, you go to school, you put your time in there and you get your work done. And then you're basically, at some places you're a walk away from the rink and your stuff is already there. You're treated like a professional at such a young age. And everything is there for you. You got your meals are planned out. They usually have to make some fruits and stuff. And you know what? The parents don't have to worry anymore. It's just, you pay the program and you go there and you just focus on school, you focus on hockey, you focus on training, and that's it. I think we've evolved and we've come a long way from, obviously when I was playing, it was running around rink to rink. I didn't know what rink I was practicing in. But nowadays, it's just these kids can go to one facility and it's school, education, training, hockey, done.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And the difference now today, if I look back 10 years, the kind of coaching that we have to give the kids is extremely different. Now kids, they want to know everything. They want to know why they're doing a certain exercise. What is it going to bring them? So my coaching approach has changed also with the years, and it's just normal. I do that with the pro players as well. You have to adapt with the years, and I explain a lot. So when I actually do a drill on ice, I explain why we're doing that drill, what is it going to give them, and we've had success with that. Our players, they can play and they can adapt with any coaches that they're going to be involved with, because they learn to adjust to the puck. And if I look at the sometimes minor hockey, instead of teaching them the individual skills, how to adjust to the puck, they show them systems. But in reality, when you show the kids a system, if the puck doesn't go exactly where you're telling the player to be, they're mixed up. So that's why I put a lot more focus on adjusting to the puck, and play as a unit, and it's been working for the past 6-7 years.
Mm-hmm. Hey, listen, a comment coming back from Derek. Thank you for being so active, Derek. And listening to Scott, he sounds like he knows what he is doing, but is he an agent and knows really what's coming in Calgary? And free agents will not line up to freeze. And they could go to Winnipeg, for God's sakes.
I don't think Derek is in center.
Sorry?
I don't think Derek.
No. You know what? That's what Gouche Live is all about. Sometimes people, and Derek, I really respect him and his thinking. But again, somebody likes Coke, somebody likes Pepsi, right? Mm-hmm. And I think there was another comment. I know I'm going back in it. he's also saying Muller was more of a coach today. So I think sometimes when people believe in a certain process, that's why I'm asking you about what's going on now with Francois and Scott. Kids are needing to learn, and when I talk to kids, the future hockey players need to learn what this means. It's not just a telephone, and it's not just to play games. It's a social media that can get you into a lot of trouble. So you got to learn how to deal with it. So now, as a player agent, I know we've had this conversation, Scott. You need to educate them on everything, all aspects, all different types of coaches. There are going to be still Sutter coaches. There are going to be Muller coaches. There's going to listen. Paul Maurice has taken some beating in Winnipeg by certain Jet fans that just don't like his style. Yet he's doing pretty good.
You will always face adversity in life, whether you're as a hockey player, as a coach, in business. You will have people that you work for that you may not like. We can't run away. You have to face adversity and meet it head on. And it's that simple. And the kids that I've worked with, we get back to social media, Instagram, Twitter, all this stuff. I monitor all their accounts. I follow all these kids. And one thing I always said to them, I have zero tolerance for cyberbullying. If you're cyberbullying and you're cyberbullying girls, young women, ladies, you're out. It's over. We're done. We sever ties right away. Zero tolerance for cyberbullying. Do not be a keyboard tough guy. No time for it.
All right,
completely agree, because in having 17 different nationalities in our academy, and we've got kids from all over, different skin colors, different religion backgrounds. And the notion of respect is extremely important. We don't tolerate anything. So anything sexist, anything that has to do with the skin color, anything that has to do with religion. I mean, for us, it has to be a huge family, and it's been like that since the beginning, and it's going to continue being like that. And I think that's very important.
Listen, just before we go into the final little comments, I want to go back, please, if you don't mind. I love the comments. I love people being engaged, and we've obviously hit some nerves. So let's chat. Robert Wine, thank you for joining us from Ottawa. The biggest challenge now is kids are encouraged to cause no offense or be mean in any way. That a coach who pushes them and calls out the kids must be very careful, and they'll offend the kid and be fired. That comes to the thought of, we're getting participation trophies today. I think there's got to be a balance. You can't go over that balance. And Francois, I just want to say one more thing, and then I'll get this very important question. Joey Lyons is doing a shout out to you, buddy, Scotty, and so he wants you to do a shout out to him.
Joey, you're the best. Go Leafs, go,
all right,
Joey.
And then Derek's coming. He doesn't like Sutter. I think he is right. Players are different today, and they do have much more control. Francois, this comes to you. Super important, Francois. I do the same and try to explain how the drills can be applied in a game versus just doing the drill. I'm going to ask you both. First you, Francois, and then you can chime in, Scott. When I was growing up, it was still black and white TV, and I remember doing the drill, and at the end of the drill, we had no idea why we were doing it. Nobody explained it, and it was one of those, you skate along the boards, and the guy would crunch you in the top of the head, and you'd go and crunch you, to learn it. Nobody was learning. All you were learning is getting crunched. There was no purpose for the actual drill, and now when we look back, had you at least explained, okay, angle them off, bumping, you don't have to kill them, but everybody was sticks high, headshots, all that sort of stuff. Talk to me about this then. How important is it, not only for you, Francois, as a teacher of the game, and Scott, you as taking that player and giving them opportunities, how important is the coaching in the right progression? Francois first.
It's extremely important, because there's steps depending on the age that the kid is at. There's different stages. They have to learn the basics. I mean, why show them, how to get out of the zone if you can't even catch or receive a pass properly or make a pass in movement properly? So a lot of the times what I see is coaches trying to go too fast. So if they have let's say a planning for their practice, and they have 6 drills, but they want to do all 6 drills, but if they cannot do the first drill properly, why go to the second one? So and I mean, we have a lot of time with our kids, so we have over 200 hours of practices a year, so we have time. I don't care repeating stuff, doing, and if you look at all the teams, even pro teams, when it's not going too good, are not too well, and they have a losing streak, the first thing that the coach is going to say is, let's go back to the basics. Well, that's what we're doing. We're always touching the base, and that's the most important thing for kids. And it's the same thing as they grow, one step at a time. And sometimes it could be parent pressure or pressure of performance. We don't put the emphasis on that, not the winning, not the amount of points that the kid's going to get. You're playing hockey. Hockey is a game. Might as well have fun doing it. So, the first principle for us is to have fun. If you don't have fun, you'll never progress. So, and that's what we teach, and that's what I've changed also as a coach. Is my approach with the kids is different. My approach with the pro players is different today than it was 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. So, you got to grow with the years, basically.
Yeah, you know what, Francois, and I love that you just said that, because one of the things for me, when I'm at the rink and I'm watching clients play, and I'm watching the AAA games, major bantam, minor midget. The one thing that really, really hits home for me is when I hear a hockey coach lambaste one of his players, just screaming from the bench and just centering out one player. And we're not talking about an OHL rink. We're not talking an NHL rink. We're talking, Canlan Ice Sports Village, where every parent, every one of his teammates can hear the coach ripping him apart. Every parent can hear it across the ice. That's the kind of stuff that I can't tolerate. And that's, from an agent's perspective, that's when I go down to see the team afterwards and talk to the coach after the game, saying, hey, I understand my client, wasn't in the right situation or wasn't in the right, position at that time. But maybe when he gets to the bench, or maybe during intermission, or just discreetly talking in his ear, but centering him out in front of his peers, in front of everyone in the building, where everywhere his voice is echoing, mm-hmm. There's no need for that. And that just demoralizes a kid. And I can't stand seeing that.
I completely agree. And I put my players, my kids accountable as well. And what I mean by that is, they're responsible for their actions. It could be social media, it could be anything. So you have to become a man or a good person, whether you're on the ice, off the ice, at the hotel, with your parents, especially with your parents, because if you tell your parents off, eventually you're going to tell your coach off. That's right. So it's that's important as well. And the first thing that I tell my players, when I'm not looking at you, are you quitting or are you doing the work that you're supposed to do? Mm-hmm. So, and for me, that's giving the kids accountability, and he has to be responsible for really what he's doing outside of the environment of our ice rink or our home rinks and gym. So that's basically what we've been doing. So
no, it's perfect.
Your mic's off, Gooch.
I knew that. I had to take a call. I'm doing it all. I'm agent. Trade me right now. Especially if I was in Detroit. Hey, listen, just as we wrap up, Val's going to come up. We're going to have a little bit of a fun thing with you guys right now, but I do want to just end it off with a couple of great comments for you guys. Quality people become the way by working with quality people. You guys, I really appreciate what you guys are doing for the kids. Derek Luck, touche, Scott, 100% agree with what you said. I'm not sure what you said, but it sounded good. Good morning, Francois, the flying silver fox. And salute, Francois. We love Sebastian Fortier. We'll get him on the show very quickly. Derek Luck, one more time. Man, we've really, that's Sutter.
He doesn't like Sutter.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't say that. In fairness to Derek, I think he's just making a point. How long will the experiment with our friend Liney and Torts last? Like it's not working out right now. So let's see how that works. Anyways, Here we go. But Sutter is a taskmaster, and a 20-year-old player that is in the basement doesn't want to be yelled at and taking a whip from a 50-year-old guy. Kids want to win and win now. That's a very good point. Scott, you say it, but Sutter is the guy that does that. Okay, we'll see if that plays it out. You were saying don't shout out. Let's see if, listen, Mike Keane. We all know Mr. Keane. Yeah. He changed his style to stay in the National Hockey League. He was rough and tough, and he extended his career a little bit longer by adapting to the times. And if you don't, you're not going to be around as a coach, because the first person the team can change when they're in the situation that Calgary is now is not Johnny G. They're changing the coach. I want to see Scott take Sutter aside after game and tell him the way to talk to players. I love it.
I'll give him a call.
Thoughts on parents, coaches? I'm one, and it's super tough. Really quickly, before we get into our little game with Val, I want to wrap this up. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute each. Bobby B's a great, I listened to him talk. He's great at being a coach. My dad tried only one game to coach, and that was it. Never again. We all drove him crazy. It's a tough job.
Yep, I agree.
I
actually
to get through the job.
Yeah, actually, I've actually coached my own son, but I was never telling him what to do. I was sending another coach, tell him all the adjustments that I wanted to see. But in our academy with Somang, we actually have parents that are coaching, but they're not coaching the same teams as their son is playing in. So, and that makes a huge difference, and it avoids a lot of problems. So, so that's what we did, because we've got good quality coaches. We've just hired four new coaches, and one of the coaches, his son is playing with a higher level team, and he's taking the younger kids because he's a good teacher, and that's what we need for those younger kids, is someone to be very patient with them, someone that is able to show them how to do an exercise properly, the technique properly, and to be a good teacher, basically. So, and that just been working just fine with us.
You know what? And I'll give you my opinion on it. It's for me, it's a no-go, and I'll tell you why. You can give your son the advantage and give him the extra ice time, give him the power play opportunities, the special teams, the penalty kill. But on the other side of it, you can also be too hard on your son, and you can take him away from the power play, take him away from the special teams. And I look at it like this. You know what? Be a cheerleader for your son. Go to the games, watch him play a game that we all grew up loving to play. And afterwards, you know what? Enjoy the ride home. Enjoy the ride home. Whether he had a good game or bad game, let him enjoy the ride home and just be a father. And sometimes, you know what? It's okay, dads. Put your arm around your children and just give them a hug and say, good game. And that's all you have to do.
That's what they need, basically.
Thank you for sharing that. Now here we get into it. Oh boy, amateur hour, Gooch. Barney, you're beautiful. Hey, listen, Derek Luck, Keenan with a marshmallow compared to Sutter. I love it. But here's a great comment from our Val. Val's coming up now. Val, these guys know nothing about what we're going to do. First time ever on Gouche Live. We're going to include these two rookies in it. But I really liked your, you can teach your kids anything you want except disrespect. That's one thing that we, I think, have gotten away from. I think the phone, the iPads, the internet has taken our kids far too away from, you know, being the kids that we were. And listen, times change, there's no question, but respect in kids do not.
That is my son's number one rule. I tell him that you can grow up to be anything you want, but the moment you become disrespectful, you'll answer to me. I don't care if parents out there, whatever, he knows. You respect other people and you'll get respect in turn. That's the one thing I have with him, right? And Scott,
if I could,
go ahead.
Oh, no, please, finish.
No, I'm done. I was just going to touch on the previous point.
Yeah, you're done, all right. Just get your show ready, okay? Here's what I want to say. I judge a person that is young, how they treat their parents and adults around them. And I know things have changed, and maybe Daryl will shoot me on this one. I just don't see a young boy or girl calling their parent by their first name. I disagree with it. And I don't have kids. But where I judge a human, a male or female, an adult, is how they treat the elderly. That's where you see how true a person is. How you treat your parents shows me how character you are with inside. And closing on that, Scotty Bowman changed, and he was also hot-headed in his ways. All right, thank you for that. All right, here we go. Explain to these two rookies. I already know I'm going to win. Tell us that.
Actually, it's a new feature we have here on Wednesday. We're just starting it off today. It's called One or the Other. I'll give each one of you a different scenario. You won't have the same question, and you got to choose one or the other. That's pretty much simple. pretty much it.
And
Sorry.
quick, we've only got 4 minutes. Okay, I'm going last because I don't know what you're talking about. Francois, you're first.
Okay, you want to go first, Francois? Okay, so Francois,
I don't have a choice.
Okay, I guess Francois it is. Francois, you're the general manager. You're the general manager of an expansion team. You have the choice between choosing Leon Draisaitl or Mitch Marner. Who do you go with to start your team off?
Draisaitl.
Reason why? Quick little reason.
Just for the offense. I mean, he's a pretty good all-around player. So he's having a little bit more difficulties lately, but I think he. I like Mitch Marner. Don't get me wrong.
There's no right or wrong answer. There's no right or wrong answer.
But I would pick him just for the offensive side of the game.
Look at that. And you know what? You won over Derek Luck. He's agreeing with you. And I'm agreeing with you too. Love it.
Scott,
hey, listen, just before.
Okay.
Listen to this. Marnie Moo, I'm hurt you don't have kids. Wow, I don't know what to think about anymore. Marnie, you're not a kid. You're a beautiful young lady over in Adelaide. Guys, when you meet Marnie, she's incredible. She fell in love with hockey in a non-traditional hockey, and she eats, sleeps, and drinks hockey. And I have a big surprise coming for her. I got a couple of ladies that are going to talk to her about her game. So let's not talking anymore. Look at this. Play ends with Draisaitl. All right, here we go. Scott is next.
Okay, so Scott, for you, we have, due to the Leafs' current losing streak, is it just a matter of a case of like hot goaltending they ran into, or just poor defense lately?
Poor defense. Poor defense. Lack of commitment. Lack of commitment in the D zone. Being second to the puck and not outworking those offensive players coming in on the forecheck. Just being too lackadaisical in their own end right now. And you can't be blocking shots with your new CCM skates.
I know, those are pretty. Those are very pretty.
Yeah.
Actually, if I may.
You can't. It's not your show. It's Gouche Live. Go.
Kerry, you want to take that one? Goaltending or bad defense?
I want another question.
Okay. So you're the host.
That was easy. Hang on 1 sec. I wanted to say about that. Appleton's a good player. There's no question. He's a gritty. He's a hard worker. But the way he smoked the defense, I don't even know who the defenseman was. I apologize. But
it was O'Reilly, I believe.
Morgan Riley.
Yeah, he's got beaten by McDavid and now Appleton. He should start drinking Appleton. Okay, let's go next.
Actually, in basketball, they're called posterized when guys get dunked. So Morgan Riley's been on the other end of a poster a lot in his career, unfortunately.
Polarized. All right, go.
All right, so Kerry, who will be more active at the trade deadline, the Leafs or the Jets?
God.
Hurry up! It's only a 3-hour show.
It's not because I like the Winnipeg Jets. I think the Winnipeg Jets are poised to actually win a Stanley Cup with that team. I think they're in a position. We'll see that in the next couple of games. I don't know if I can take all these coffees. I'm going to win over all this. But the question is either or. I don't think those two teams are the ones that are really going to be doing a lot of trading. But if they do, I think both of them need to go after a big
defenseman. You got to pick one team, the Leafs or the Jets. In just this scenario, who's going to be more active at the trade line?
That's why I thought that was my show.
There's no ties. There's no ties.
Okay, I'm going to pick the Toronto Maple Leafs because I think my team is in a better position to go further at the end of the day because they need secondary scoring, and I think their defense, as you said, I don't think they're paying the price back there, Scott. I think you're 100% right. But I would like to see another big defenseman in Winnipeg. But I think the Leafs are going to be more active. But those two teams are not going to be the most active. I think some of those teams down in the States are going to have to make some changes down there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's it, gentlemen. Yeah, you.
So who won?
Nobody.
Who won?
It's just to spike some conversation out there. See what's going on. See what your own personal opinion is. No right or wrong.
You want something to talk about?
No, are the Habs firing their goaltending coach again, or
no? Not that. Did you see Qatar on the shootout between the legs and missing it?
Oh, he tried to pull a Matt Barzal.
Holy crap! I think that was the last time they were sending him.
Hey, what about? Okay, I've got one for you three. really quickly, goal of the year, McDavid or Barzal?
Barzal.
Yeah, I say Barzal too.
Right now, it's Barzal.
I'm saying McDavid because he made those Leafs look like they were falling from a tree.
I tried the Barzal move. I almost gave myself a concussion, so I'm going Barzal.
All right,
Gouche, you just want to be different.
Congratulations on what you're doing. You're an absolutely dream to work with. I can't thank you enough. And Scotty, I look forward to you coming and hosting more in the future. And of course, don't forget tomorrow. Don't forget Paul Rosen, the Rosen Report. So you guys, I know you're watching that with passion. So bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys. All right. Hey, that was really cool. I like that. And you know what? On Friday, what do we got going on? Derek Luck, you've been picked as the fan favorite. It's Friday. What is it called again?
Trade him, re-sign him, or release him.
Okay. So, Derek, you're coming on the show right at the end. We're going to do sign, release him.
Yes, we will do that. Yeah.
All right. Anything you want to say other than the fact that your Detroit Red Wings blew it last night?
Oh, well, it is what it is. You know what? I'm kind of curious to see how the new NHL deal works with the ESPN and ESPN Plus. They haven't been back on that network since about 13 years. I mean, over 1,100 games, and they're going to get the massive exposure that they need in the States, right?
Yeah, true. And that's where the game needs to grow. I don't think you can't grow it anymore in North America. It's as good as it gets right now. So Fan Friday, we don't even know our own show. It's called Fan Friday because Bobby B beat us last time with his buddy Ben, his son. He was fantastic. Marty, don't forget, we got something special coming up for you. As usual, thank you to the assistant producer, James, in the background, doing a great job. Val, executive producer, you're doing amazing things. Over the next couple of weeks, there are more changes coming. Derek Luck's giving us some great ideas. We really like it. And, of course, Derek, we're looking forward to having you on Fan Friday, this Friday. Not Thursday, on Friday. All right, guys. Thank you for watching Gouche Live. Don't forget tomorrow we have Chris Cesara coming on. He is, you got to hear his story. Incredible. And then right after that, Paul Rosen with the Rosen Report. See you guys.
See you, everyone.
You've been listening to Gouche Live with your host, Kerry Goulet, better known as The Gooch, brought to you by the Hockey News and Sports Illustrated.